You know which two clips talking about Africa give me the same vibes? Let me show you.
I went to Kenya, and down there, it made me so sad but happy at the same time. So like down there, mirrors are very expensive. So a lot of people don't know what they look like. Of course, it's unfortunate they can't like afford mirrors, but then makes me look at it differently. Like at least they're not insecure about themselves.
And it gave me a similar vibe to watching Rihanna talk about touring in Africa.
7. If you could play a gig anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Africa.
Africa. Nice choice. You want to narrow it down maybe to a country?
Any part of just for the children with AIDS.
And I'm just showing this because some people were saying like, oh, this is an American thing. Americans are very ignorant. No, a lot of people honestly have very terrible opinions about what's happening in Africa. They literally talk about Africa like it is a country. If you are choosing to be ignorant, choosing to not learn about Africa, I'm not gonna say that this is only African Americans, because here's Rihanna saying she can't even name a country in Africa. Like that just shows you where people's priorities are, her priorities are. It's ignorance. I'm not saying the ignorance is justified, it's actually really ridiculous, but these are both ignorant people.
So I'm just minding my business, scrolling through social media, and then I come across a video of this young lady. She's an actress called Skai Jackson, saying how in Kenya, we don't know how we look. We don't know how we look because we don't have mirrors here.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so in today's episode, you're going to be reacting to videos of celebrities who come into Africa with a lot of ignorant beliefs, right? But the ignorance is not the problem, rather the lack of educating one's ignorance and exporting the same ideology despite visiting the continent, right? So in today's episode, as you have seen, we are going to be talking about how two celebrities in particular, especially Skai Jackson. I know a lot of you might be familiar with her works. We grew up watching her videos, right? So she came into Kenya, and when she went outside, she decided to brand a whole Africa as a very poor, poverty-stricken continent, to a point where people cannot afford mirrors, right? Guys, what I'm holding in my hand right now is a very basic comb, right? This is what is even used in the village. I had to get these for the sake or the purpose of this video. And this is a comb, right? You see that it's also detachable, you see,
and it has a mirror. And for the most part, people in the city can afford big mirrors, the wall mirrors, right? But people in the villages, they can't afford the big mirrors, but that doesn't mean they don't have mirrors. They have these small detachable mirrors that they can take with wherever. So meaning, from the time you are born to the time you die in Africa, you have come across a certain mirror.
Right, but guys, I'm not here to even just blast Skai Jackson. Rather, we are here to just educate, right? Because there's somebody who saw Skai Jackson's video and got really, really angry, and they decided, you know what, that is not Africa, you know, but they don't do a lot of work in educating. And on the other hand, there's somebody else who saw Skai Jackson's video where she was talking about Africans not being able to afford a mirror, and they believed what she said, right? So this is just but an example of Africa. You cannot miss a mirror, and this does not even cost $1. It's just on the cent, right? It's under $1. But guys, what are we talking about? Let's watch what we prepared for you, and then we come back and talk about it. You can let us know your thoughts and opinion in the comment section. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here. Let's watch and then we come back.
What on earth is happening? It's 2026. As a well-exposed and traveled actress as herself, I'd imagine that she has access to the internet. In fact, she's at this thing for Kaisenat, the streamer university thing. So she streams, so I'm sure she's online a lot. You mean to tell me you think as a country we don't have mirrors? Why would you come for poverty tourism, which is when you come to the most poorest parts of our country, and then paint it out to be the whole population lives like this? That is quite unfortunate. Are you dizzy, Fa? You think we don't have mirrors? We live in mansions. We have some of the most beautiful houses and destinations. And what are you talking about?
To touch on the Skai Jackson situation again, why do people go to those villages? Like, you don't see people going to France and then going to the slums of France. Like, people go to France, they go to Paris, bro, they go to Marseille. When people go to Japan, bro, they go to Tokyo, they go to all this nice shit. What is this thing where all these celebrities or people, like, they go to Kenya and they go specifically to the village? Well, what the is that about? Like, they never talk about their time in the city, bro. Like, it's always some secluded village, bro. I remember I saw a Deshae stream. Bro went straight to see the Maasai. See, at least with Speed, he showed that, oh, there is a city, bro. Bro went to the KICC Center. But all these missionaries, all these celebrities, bro, they go straight to these secluded villages, bro. What? Like, why? Like, these people genuinely have no intentions of doing anything but this, like, white savior shit. Really. Like, I just don't understand it. Do you get what I mean? And it's like, bro, Skai Jackson apologized. We don't accept her apology because, again, you're an idiot. Like, literally, like, she showed us a video of people that had their hair done. How did... And look, bro, Skai Jackson, bro, she got impregnated by a bum. Like, bro, no one ever thought she was intelligent. But this is a stretch, you know what I mean? But it's like, I've just never understood, like, this obsession with going to the worst part of Kenya, bro. To going to the slums of Kenya. Like, there's so much more to Kenya. Like, and it's like, bro, I don't even care about them trying to paint it as a bad image. I'm just genuinely wondering, why are you going to Kenya just to go to the shitty part? Like, you're wasting your money. Like, bro, there are people here that need help. Do you get what I mean? You're going all the way to Africa to give people help when it's like, like, bro, there are people living in poverty here. Like, I don't know, man. You let me know.
I've spent the past 3 years in Nairobi, Kenya. Like I told you guys, I was there for 4 months in 2023. I went to Mombasa, Nakuru, and a few cities nearby outside the Nairobi metropolitan area. And I relocated there in 2024. And I just now recently have left there. So I have a good amount of time. I'm telling you guys, there are people in Nairobi that more than likely have more money than you do. And they have a mirror. They have a mirror that's on a G-Wagon. And in Africa, they don't have loans. They don't have loans. Like, and if they do have loans on top of that, the taxes to get a regular Honda in Kenya make the car 2 to 3 times more than the value that it costs somewhere in America. For example, for y'all that don't know, a $15,000 car in America would literally be about $45,000 for the exact same car in a country where people are probably making like $5,000 a year on average. If you are in that environment and you still can manage to afford a G-Wagon, it's not the same as having a G-Wagon in the United States because you can make fucking payments on it. They don't have payments usually in those countries. And if they do, they have installments. Like if you want to buy an apartment, you got to put 20% down, and then within 2 years, that shit need to be paid off. I can guarantee you the majority of Americans cannot do that in the first place because we operate on the credit system.
Miss Skai Jackson, girl, apparently mirrors are very expensive in Kenya. A lot of people don't know how they look like. Seriously. Oko serious. I am Kenyan. That is a total lie. It just surprises me that in 2026, people can be making such misleading comments, spreading such misinformation. It's crazy. This just shows me that there's lack of knowledge, lack of education, and not because there's lack of resources. No. Everyone has access to the internet. She has access to the internet. You can watch videos, you can read books. But this mentality that I think we left a long time ago about, savior mentality, saving the continent. Africa is a poverty-ridden continent. Please, let's stop that. It's 2026. I talk about African countries on my page. If you want to learn more about the continent, come to my page. I'll tell you about it.
Going to Africa as a country in 2026 will never sit right with me. It's a continent filled with different tribes and different languages. Skai Jackson reminds me of those people who basically would go to African countries like Nigeria, Kenya, the likes, and basically pretend like they are their savior. These people are so poor, like they showed them something that they'd never seen before, like the whole mirror concept that she's talking about, how they can't afford mirrors. And even Viola Davis was under this post with a bunch of question marks because it's like, girl, what are you doing? This is embarrassing. Like, it's like trying to make African countries look horrible, especially Kenya, But anyway, here's the clip of her talking about this.
Yes, like when I went to Africa, that's why I loved it. I went to Kenya, and down there, it made me so sad but happy at the same time. So like down there, mirrors are very expensive. So a lot of people don't know what they look like. So when I went to this school, it was like this little village. It was so cute. A lot of the kids did not know what they looked like. So for the first time, they saw what they looked like at my phone, and they were like laughing, and they were so happy. But honestly, I mean, of course it's unfortunate they can't like afford mirrors,
But then makes me look at it differently. Like, at least they're not insecure about themselves.
Good gracious God. I've seen beauty before, but this is a discovery.
Yes, like when I went to Africa, that's why I loved it. I went to Kenya, and down there, it made me so sad but happy at the same time. So like down there, mirrors are very expensive. So a lot of people don't know what they look like. So when I went to this school, it was like this little village. It was so cute. A lot of the kids did not know what they looked like. So for the first time, they saw what they looked like at my phone, and they were like laughing, and they were so happy. But honestly, I mean, of course it's unfortunate they can't like afford mirrors, but then makes me look at it differently. Like, at least they're not insecure about themselves because they don't know what they look like, and then they're not probably bullying other people and being mean to other people. So it made me think about it that way, and then they take education very seriously there.
Skai Jackson sat in the Streamer University classroom looking like Rango the Lizard and said that when she went to Kenya, mirrors are so expensive that the Kenyans don't know what they look like. Now, first off, do you know how stereotypical and racist it is to assume that people are so poor that they don't know what the fuck they look like? She claims when she went down there, they all were looking at their reflection in her phone and they were laughing and giggling. Girl, they was laughing and giggling because he was
Zuri off the jet seat.
Talking about how expensive mirrors are. How expensive is water gonna be if you keep using all that damn AI on your Snapchat? The reason a lot of people can't fuck with you, they can't vibe with you, Miss Skai, Zuri, Airplane, Thriller, Jackson, is because you roll around this bitch like the world is your oyster. The program is a lot bigger than you think. You are not as connected as you would wish. There's no cars, windows, or large bodies of water for anybody to see their reflection. Everybody just sits back and opens their eyes as wide as you do so they can look into their inner soul, I guess. I don't know, cousins. Comment and let me know what you think. I think it was very insensitive and disrespectful to comment on another country's resources when you over here depleting all ours using all that fucking AI. Now put that in your prompt and see what they make you. Comment and let me know what you think, cousins. If you like to show some love and support, or if you like to stay updated, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit the like or follow button for me.
I just wanted to apologize for my conversation when I was talking about my trip to Kenya. I did not mean any disrespect by it. I went back in 2018 and I did go to a very tiny village. I wish I knew the name. I have pictures, I think, in my other phone. I took it on my old Snapchat account with all of the students and the teachers there. But like I said, the children did tell me that and the teachers did tell me that. But I met and the teachers were talking to us. It was me and a bunch of people. It wasn't just me on that trip. So they were talking to me about that and just like all the other students. But I didn't mean everyone in Africa. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I really enjoyed my time in Kenya, like genuinely. Yes, Jenna Ortega was on that trip as well. But like there's that one. They were so sweet. And then I think you see Jenna in this one. Wait. I'm right there. That was the second school that we went to. So this was like another school that we went to. It was an all-girls school. There's Jenna right there. But yeah, so I don't have any pictures from what I was talking about. But again, I did want to just apologize because I did not mean any harm by it. I truly didn't. I truly loved my experience. And I was not being funny. I saw some people in the comments saying, oh, she's trying to be funny about that. I genuinely was not, because that is what the teachers there at the village that we went to and the smaller children did tell us. But I just wanted to apologize. I hope you guys forgive me. I would never be disrespectful or just say anything that's crazy because I'm not that type of person.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos we just played you, yeah? I feel like it's high time. You can't really claim ignorance or cry out that you didn't know about something.
Especially with the day of internet and social media.
100%. If you're gonna go to a place, make sure you do enough research. Right now, it's very easy because we have internet at your own disposal. You got Google, you know.
Exactly. And also people from these African countries. There are so many content creators who speak about African issues, and not only that, just the countries in general and how the countries are, so you kind of know what to expect.
But in her defense also, I have to say, not everybody out here is genuine. Let me tell you, Skai, according to what she said, she came with an NGO organization, and I have to say that not all these NGOs are legitimate. Genuine. Something as simple as a mirror, to be honest, that is That is BS. You can smell it from afar. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I think that is the easiest way for these organizations to get sympathy from Westerners
And donations.
especially, and donations, So if they want your money, this is some of the tactics they will use in order to get your money. The only problem with them using these tactics to get your money and you believing in their tactics enough to allow them to commit fraud through these acts is that you carry this very same belief and you take it outside of Africa and you generalize Africa when you're representing your single experience in one African country.
And then also the sad part about this is that those people who genuinely need help might never get them, because if it were any other thing she said, that she went into that village and found them lacking. If it was food, I would have believed it. If it was clothes, shelter, water, school, I would understand. If she came into Africa, went to a village and said, look, I found these kids studying under a tree, and so I decided to build a small, facility structure for them, I would have believed. But for Amira, that is a con game, But also, I also have to ask, much as I'm not faulting her because that was her experience, I'm also faulting her. And the reason why I'm saying you cannot claim ignorance right now is because, guys, there's somebody in this compilation who talked about you can never find a tourist going to France, and then they go to Paris, they go to these beautiful touristy,
posh,
right? Posh but good cities, right? But why is it that they don't go to the
bad slums? Even here in Africa, we don't know how American and European slums look like, but we started having a clue thanks to YouTubers who would show homeless situation in America and beyond, And so someone else was saying it was so bad of her to generalize an entire continent and an entire country she visited. She didn't even visit the entire country, mind you. She just visited a particular section of that country, and she was lied to about the situation of mirrors. And people would ask, why are people being so petty about something like a mirror? It's because once you start having a small misrepresentation of an issue, then the bigger issues get magnified because even the tiniest details are not represented accurately.
Also, the moment I want to believe that Skai Jackson, when she was coming into Kenya, she must have landed in a modern airport. Not that we have others that aren't modern airports, but where did she land when she was touching down into Kenya? Another question, why did she not talk about the experience she felt leaving the airport? Because for you to get to a village, you have to have traveled, you have to have left modern facilities behind.
From the city en route to the village, there are roads you passed through.
There are a million things you could talk about other than going and telling the whole world about Africans not having mirrors and therefore they don't know what they look like, So I do see where Africans are coming from, because a lot of them were quite insulted by that. And we saw trends, especially here in Kenya, of people posting pictures and videos of their mirrors and them, quote unquote, seeing themselves for the first time because Skai Jackson
while at it,
Yeah.
And honestly, that is why I usually thank God for creators like
iShowSpeed,
who shows best of both worlds and also shows the negativity of the said worlds. He just doesn't show the negative, Unlike creators like Mr. Beast, who's also been accused of the same. In as much as he helps the communities he goes to, he only showcases the impoverished side of the countries he visits, And that is why I usually thank God for content creators who started rising up from Africa. And to be specific, there are several. One of them being Wodemaya, who has done a very good job at showcasing the real Africa and not just the poor side of Africa, because Africa does not only have a poor side, it has both worlds, And other than him, there is also another content creator, Tayo Aina. He's also done a very good job in showcasing what Africa is, amongst many other content creators.
Right. And guys, I just want to talk about, I really love Rihanna. I do. She's one of my favorite artists.
Rihanna.
Grew up listening to Rihanna. I do. I have love for the woman. But now, remembering the
And
interview she was
I
in,
also wish, has she ever come to Africa for a concert?
I don't know. That's the thing. Has she ever
Let me
touched down
Google.
in Africa? Google real quick, right? Because you tell me how it really shows the lack of information people have about a certain continent. Like we're a whole entire continent, just like Asia is a whole entire continent with countries inside, right? When you talk about Japan, you don't talk about Japan like being a whole continent. You talk about it as a country in Asia, right? When you talk about places like Korea, you are aware that Korea is a country inside a continent, yeah? When you talk about the United States, you are aware that it's a continent, right? When you talk about, different continents, so why is it that when it comes to Africa, there's really not much knowledge, especially with Westerners who are coming into information about Africa? It's like, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's about interest. If you want to know about a country or a continent, you're gonna do more research on it,
Right. And I asked Google if Rihanna has ever performed in Africa, and it said yes, she has had 2 concerts in Africa. The first one was in 2006 in South Africa. That was just one country in Africa, right? And the second one,
South Africa. Before you continue, that was South Africa around 2006. Around 2006, I feel like we were quite young. That is why I don't remember any information about it, because I feel like I would have, right?
Right. And also the other time she performed in Africa, which was also still South Africa, Johannesburg to be specific, was in 2013. I would love because Rihanna has influence, and yes, I do get that she's not obligated. She's not obligated to, but because of her influence, whatever comes out of her mouth is kind of when they usually say, with power comes great responsibility. I also do feel like with influence should come great responsibility, because if you go into an interview, you are asked where you'd like to perform a concert. You say Africa, then
You've been to South Africa. You could have said
you
South
have
Africa.
people's ear when you say Africa, because now people will want to know
why.
Of all the first world continents, okay, why Africa? And then when they listen keenly, an interviewer asks you, okay, Africa, you want to perform there.
Could you be more
Which
specific?
country specifically? Because right now there are 55 countries in Africa. Which country specifically would you like to have a concert in? You don't know a country. Or the most you can say is deviate to saying you would like to perform for kids with AIDS. They're not a country. There are people...
Anyway, guys, you get what we are trying to say. I just hope that people would educate themselves, more, because, like, imagine talking about a continent or a country of a people, and you're talking about who cannot be able to afford something as simple as a mirror, and then you go further ahead and say these people have never seen themselves, like, ever since they were born. Like, come on.
Unless the kids from the area where she was at were intrigued by her phone camera, because number one, not so many people in Africa can afford an iPhone. That's a fact.
iPhone, but other phones
there, but an iPhone, not so many people
not
can afford
an iPhone. An iPhone is a luxury. Just a simple phone.
But Skai Jackson has an iPhone.
But is it not a smartphone? It's just a smartphone.
When she went to that village, can you compare the pixels of an iPhone to a random techno phone or whatever people from the village can afford? So when you what is it called, when you open up a camera of an iPhone, how clear it is, how clearly people see, wouldn't that intrigue anybody?
But that's not a mirror. Remember, the bone of contention is a mirror.
Listen, we are saying the same thing basically. To them, them looking at themselves in a phone camera, that is like seeing a reflection of themselves.
Yeah, but also we are still talking about a mirror. Those people, since they were born, it regardless of whatever part of the village they're coming from, even if it's in the most interior parts. Remember, we have combs that have mirrors.
And I'm not denying that. I'm saying everybody has seen their reflection.
Exactly.
But I'm trying to explain why these kids might have been intrigued or drawn to her, and she mistook it for them not knowing their reflection and tried to explain that they don't have mirror.
That is on her, the assumptions she came out of there with. But to say that people have never seen themselves how they look because they lack mirrors, you see, that's an ambiguous statement.
I agree with you. That was very ignorant of her. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not even trying to defend her. I'm just trying to say that she might have thought that people were drawn to her because of the camera / mirror, but not really. People weren't drawn to her because of that. It was because of her clear phone with the clear pixels.
Anyway, Maureen, you can't try and explain someone's mentality.
I'm not explaining her mentality.
I'm
explaining the mentality of why they were so drawn to her phone.
But we are talking about Skai Jackson. But thank you so much.
But we're also talking about the kids.
Yeah, okay,
and the cops and the mirror.
okay. Let's end it there. But there's still no, there's no argument around someone's ignorance.
No, I don't even.
Exactly. So to make it clear, guys, there's a mirror everywhere you go, even in the tiniest village you can ever find. There's mirrors everywhere. Okay. So anyway, I think we'll just leave it at that. I hope she learned her lesson. She ended up apologizing. Yeah. Let us know what you think about this episode in the comment section. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here, and we'll catch you on our next episode. Thank you so much for always tuning in.